what's going on? It's BJ here. This video is on the possible false flag or assassination. When I say that, I don't mean literal, maybe even staged, or just attempt on, and it could be on Donald Trump or on Obama, but it could just be another one of these major false flag shootings, or something to that extent. Now, the reason I first bring this up, Zach K. Hubbard brought this work to my attention on July 11th, and so I highly suggest you check out his work. I'll put a link below. But I have a little extra than he does and a little different take. But for those that don't remember, Donald Trump goofed earlier this year, a few months ago.
Police and our firemen down in 7-Eleven, down at the World Trade Center, right after it came down.
So he confused 9/11 with 7/11, and you know, some people are saying that that was a purposeful goof, or you know, or it's synchronicity. Or just, you know, whatever, it's just an accident. But we're going to get into how this connects to the Invictus games. So if you didn't see my last video, I highly suggest you check that out. That goes a little deeper, and also Zach's channel goes in a different direction too, a little different. I think you need to combine multiple people's works, especially with Gematria, because we're like adding on each other's work all the time. We see things that other people didn't. So first of all, Invictus equals 117, or if you're from Europe, it's July 7th. You got to watch my last video for more on this. But Sarah Rudder, who is like the #1 Invictus champion, like 7 gold medals, she's the face of it now. Well, her Gematria is perfect for it. And like I said, to me, this is most likely staged. She's a supposed 9/11 victim, being a Marine. She was rummaging through the rubble, but whatever. So I'm going to move on. Michelle Obama, who's also super affiliated with the Invictus Games, gave speech. It's basically her and Henry's thing. She's born on January 17th, 117, or 7/11. And then the guy, William Ernest Henley, who's the guy who wrote Invictus, which didn't even get published or popular till later, died on the 11th of July. And so this is the major key here, and Zach was the one who brought this up, pointed it out, so it's perfect. He died on July 7th, and this is a reason why this is a date of concern. This isn't to fearmonger. This is the thing, is if enough people point out this stuff in advance, we ruin their plans. Like, what are they going to do when if they carry something out, and there's like 100 different videos online of people saying, we knew they were going to do it, it's a staged event, we called it out. How many people will that wake up? They can't do it. It ruins the plans. And other people have even thought and questioned of dates in the past that we have ruined their plans. For a lot of people who have been in this community. Beyonce also, just not even 2 years ago, came out with her song 7/11. And when you listen to the song, it's just kind of like this repeat after me, like Simon Says almost. She just repeats herself a whole bunch, different phrases like move your legs, move your feet, clap your hands. She's doing all these crazy dance moves in underwear, basically wearing underwear almost the whole video. And then she pops out with the checkered board Playboy bunny rabbit shirt, so we can obviously see where this is going. And I don't want to show the video, but she like at one point goes upside down, so they totally I don't know, she's like drunk on it. But let's stop that really quick. Sorry. Oh, so then also another thing that totally coincides is this July 7th through 11th, so 7/7 through 11, and 77 and 11 have a lot of connections. If you, they're both master numbers, but if you look into this and you start to learn the study, you'll find them connected often. But even right here, you could see the 7th through the 11. Oh, that's 11/7, 7/11 right there. It's is blatant, but this is a major drill for that the whole I believe it's like Washington State, I don't know, major event. So who's to say what could happen? And also with Beyonce in the 7-Eleven, I forgot to just say, I wanted to mention, in craps, when you roll the dice, you know, the 2 die, playing the gambling game, 7 and 11 are the winning numbers for when it's your roll. And this isn't in any way racist, but probably by percentage, more black people play dice than white people or other minorities. It's kind of just a cultural thing in the sense. I'm not saying it was given to them, but growing up, I only played dice with black kids. They're the only ones that carry around dice I wanted to play. And white dudes mainly like to play cards and poker. And, you know, everyone got addicted to Hold'em when that came out. But I want to continue on the 7-Eleven trend here. So, also this year, 7-Eleven CEO resigned. Now, I'm just saying, like, anybody could say this is coincidence. But, you know, it's the 7-Eleven being put out there this year. It was just a few months ago on April 7th. This article is put out. April 7th is 4-7. 4-7's president, for those that follow Gematria. Also, another thing, on July 11th in history was the Battle of Fort Stevens. It's a super big, important battle in the American Civil War. And the Confederate forces attempted to invade Washington, D.C., and basically they got shut down. Basically, that was like a major loss for them. If they would have took D.C., it could have been completely a different stance. So this is a huge major day in the Civil War, and this year the Civil War has been pushed hard. You have the Captain American Civil War came out, and if you watch the movie, it almost has nothing to do with like Captain America, like in the sense that it's not really like his movie. It's just almost, they should have just called it like Avengers Civil War, because it's basically what they should have just called it. But so Captain America Civil War came out this year. The Civil War programming's been going on hard. And then you also have the whole thing with, I'm sure most of you guys have heard of the Black Lives Matter came out. They said they want to initiate martial law so that way Obama will have to stay in office. So they're planning major protests for the RNC and DNC, which are 1 week after 7-Eleven's when the RNC starts. And then it's like a week after that's when the DNC starts. So just some things to pay attention to. Another date I just want to mention, because most people aren't aware, and I think it will be a major important date at some point, and this might be America's last 4th of July. And most people don't know that the 4th of July, they're celebrating it. They don't know that the Freemasons purposely signed this country into power on July 4th, because this is the night that the day that the Knights Templar lost the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. It was like almost just like if you think about the Civil War, how the Confederates lost, but it was huge in Masonic history. And again, 7 4s, 4-7 backwards. 4-7 is what is it, Mason or Masonic in Gematria. You just have to start studying Gematria. You'll start to understand these codes and dates. But July 4th is always a date to watch. And Freeman Fly is one of the first who predicted that he believes the Pope at some point on July 4th, there will be like a World War III, and eventually the Pope will go on to the Temple Mount, basically the church reclaiming the Temple Mount at some point. Which, if you think about it, the whole reason for invading the Middle East is to really create the new Zion, the new Israel there. So of course the Temple Mount's going to be a major spot. They're going to rebuild the temple, and that's all part of the game plan. They already have the plans drawn up for it, you know. So, and then next, I just wanted to go the last few minutes of this video. Just wanted to touch on some Gematria. And if you guys have any comments, ideas, anything you want to add, please add them in. I love comments. I don't even care whether it's great job or this sucks. You know, I just like to see it. To me, it's a better demographic of who's watching than likes and dislikes, or who's paying attention. So next I'm going to go into here is the Bushes and their Gematria. So first, I want you guys to realize, if you don't know already, America is 50. And this is why it was perfect for Bush and the Clintons, or Bill Clinton, I should say, to be presidents. They match it perfect. And Bush, the young Bush, they always referred to as W. That was his nickname. And again, in Gematria, you would drop all the zeros. In reduction, they all go down to 0, or you drop the zeros, so they'd all go down to 5. As well, I wanted to point out, if you don't know about Gematria, I highly suggest you go watch a few more of my videos to maybe get a better idea of it, or go watch some other people's videos. Just do your own research. The best way to learn is for you to look yourself. Don't just rely on everybody to give it to you. So then also, some other big numbers. I'm just going to show you some of the major numbers here with the Bushes. The other major numbers, HW, which is the father, is 31 and 13. And George W. Bush also is 13. And of course, they're both George W. Bush in a way. They both have George Walker Bush in their name. So here we go. Now, of course, anybody can say, of course they're going to use 50 because it's the 50 states, United States. So I totally understand anytime you want to have any article or people saying 50. And this guy even talks about arguing how the victors always write history so that, you know, if depending on who takes control or stays a power holder in our government, the way George Bush will be remembered, he'll either be remembered as a hero or he'll be remembered as a war criminal. And that's probably how it goes with most of them. It's always who writes history, but I think they're all in the club in the end. It's a bigger club. So there's all the 50s. Now I want to get into the 13 and 31. So it's really stupid. George H. Bush, they're making such a big deal about his socks all the time. And I get it, he's in a wheelchair and he can't walk, so what else is there to do? And it's really goofy because there's multiple articles written about this dude in his socks, and almost every single one has him with some like cheerleaders or hooter chicks. And it's so ridiculous to make a big deal out of this dude for 13 for the socks. And who was it? I swear it's Bill Clinton right there. So yeah, see, they're good old buddies. They're not separated by party. They're like, once you're president, you're just in the club. Now you're just buddies with everyone. This went like really big news. Like everybody had this outlet. His home alarm was down for 13 months. Yeah, well, why do we even need to know this? And why 13? And then they try to blame the Secret Service left Bush 41. His house alarm broken for 40 months. Now, here's another thing too you should realize is Bush 41, Skull and Bones. They were both members of the Skull and Bones. Bush is 41 and 14, the inverse, making it extra powerful number to them. 41 is big because George Bush Sr. is the 41st president, okay? And then you also have, his name is Magog in the Skull and Bones, or at least that's what he was given. When you do look a little deeper into it, that's more the rumor behind it. Magog was a title in the Skull and Bones that was given to basically the most sexually promiscuous or experienced member of the group. But it's been well quoted that Bush Sr. is Magog, and it also makes perfect sense why, if you look at the history of the Bushes, it was like Bush, the younger Bush, mentioned how in the Middle East, Magog and Gog were at work, and these are, of course, Torahic names from the Old Testament, and big in occult circles, especially the darker occult circles. But then you had the Bushes being... both of them, one's the 43rd vice president, the other's the 43rd president. So you just see how it all works out perfectly. And that's why they love throwing numbers like this at you. Bush 41, Bush is 41. It's like saying 41-41. 13 times. Yeah, and these are all different pictures too, of different socks if you look at some of these articles. Then here's another thing you guys should know, just to show his Masonic ties. And this is blatant to any Mason that knows anything. When he threw in his hat to run for office back in '87, he did it on October 13th, which is 10/13, which is Black Friday. This is the other major important date to the Knights Templar, to the Freemasons. 10/13 is the Black Friday. That's where you get the term Black Friday from. The original Black Friday, which they've repeated several times, but this is where we get Black Friday from, is from 10/13, and it's the day that the Pope made the Knights Templar illegal. And this is also where you get the whole Baphomet thing getting blown out and Christians taking this to evil deity state, is that they were like, it was like made from a couple confessions, and really almost all the Templars got away, but there's a few that were sacrificed or made example of. Demolay was, I believe, the big name, and that's why Demolay's big for Masons. But this is why, like, Chris Carter's company is called 10/13. You find it all over the place. Friday the 13th, the movies. That's why it's in the subconscious, and then it's a holiday to them. You know, it's a remembrance to them. So that's pretty much it for me, and I hope you guys just have a wonderful day. You know, the more and more people that awake, and the more and more people that throw out, you know, and understand and look at these rituals and the stuff they're doing, they're repeating themselves, and just the more you watch, the more you'll see. So the more people that put it out there, and you're always free to use any of my information. You can straight up copy it. I don't care. It's not like information, you know what I mean? I would never take offense to anybody stealing everything and making it their own and adding to it, because, you know, almost half of all my work's taken from other people's work and added on, or they're adding to my work that I was already working on. So, with that, I'll say, take care of yourself. Alright, low up, peace.